Hey everyone, so it's time to set up our bullet journal for October, but I actually ran out of pages in my old bullet journal, which I was already kind of anticipating. So I actually used this one since January of this year, and it actually lasted me until September, which I thought was pretty good. So yeah, I'm just flipping through all of my covers, and I gotta say, I'm actually pretty happy with all of them. But of course, I had to get a new bullet journal, and I bought another Argent Olive journal. So yeah, I thought I would just show you like a little unboxing, but if you want to skip that part, I wrote all of the timestamps in the description, so you can just skip to whichever part you want to see. So this time I actually got the one that has 192 pages. The paper is, as always, 160 GSM, but my old bullet journal only had 160 pages. So I'm hoping that this one will actually last me until December of 2021. But anyway, as you can see, I went for this kind of blush rose color. And again, this one has the 182 pages, like I mentioned. And it has this really beautiful floral design in gold. And then the usual pen loop, as well as an elastic band in the same kind of color that the notebook is. And the cover is actually made from a like linen type material, which I personally really love, and it has the same two bookmarks, one with the Argent Olive icon and the other one just like a plain bookmark. Then on the first page there's some space to write your name, and then it goes straight into the dotted pages, so there's no like index or anything. And the binding is a stitch binding, so it makes sure that the pages always lay really nice and flat, as you can see here. And the dots are actually a soft, like dark blue tone, so it's not too harsh against the very like white paper. And then in the back there's also a little pocket, as always. So yeah, of course I had to write my name first, which is always super exciting for some reason. But yeah, I just kept it pretty simple this time. And I'm also gonna post a video on like moving into a new bullet journal, but I decided to just leave the first few pages empty for now. And as you may or may not know, I recently created some stickers for my Etsy shop, which is now open. So for example, I have these water lily stickers from my August setup, and so I thought I would just use one of them to decorate the first page. I also just wanted to show you a few of the others I made. So I have these, which are my cloud themed stickers from May, and then the ones from my last setup with peaches. I also made some other variations, like these smaller circles for weekly spreads. And again, these are my water lily stickers from August. And then from back in April, I also have my cherry blossom themed ones. These are all going to be available on Etsy, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So for October, my best friend actually requested that I should do like a knitting slash cozy theme, and so that's exactly what I did. Now this is the illustration I created. I'm just gonna go through the process really quickly, but if you would like to see like a more slowed down version, definitely let me know in the comments and I can do that. And again, I created some bigger and some smaller stickers, but I actually ended up printing some more like different shapes later on, so you'll see that in a bit. But yeah, as you can probably tell, this one is actually a digital piece and I used Photoshop to create it. So yeah, for the process, I started off with a rough sketch of what I wanted to do. It's kind of just a scene of a room with a girl who's knitting a sweater or whatever. And then there's like a little kitty, and it's kind of like a lo-fi vibe because I just think it looks so cozy and like chill. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And as you can see, I actually took some color inspiration this time, and I chose a lot of like really warm tones. And overall it's pretty dark because it is a nighttime scene, but I tried to incorporate a lot of light through the window as well. So yeah, and after just putting down a bunch of colors, it's just a bunch of rendering after that. So I also added a dark blue as a shadow with like a multiply layer, because I just think it looks super nice together with like the bright orangey and red tones. And overall I also played around with a lot of layers and different layer styles, like with the multiply layer or sometimes with some color dodge, which makes everything like more glowy and bright. So yeah, and I tried to just make the color palette really cohesive overall, and I think it turned out pretty well. If you have a look at the color wheel, I actually never really choose anything from like the really green or cyan side, because again, I'm using more of a warm color palette, so it can be really useful to just kind of stick to, I would say, like 2/3 of the color wheel when creating a piece like this. For example, for the plants, it's not really a green in that way, but it's more of a really desaturated like dark yellow. But in comparison to the other colors, it does look green in the end. And something I also try to keep in mind is where I'm adding a lot of detail. So for example, again, the plants or the bookcase in the background are kept pretty simplified because they're not really the focal point, and they're also being pushed back into the like background because they're a lot darker than the rest. So if there's not a lot of contrast, your eye is automatically drawn to other areas where there is a lot of contrast. So whether that be through values, so like light and dark, or colors, cool and warm, or like saturation levels. So yeah, these are the kind of points I try to keep in mind. And I look back on the footage because I was just wondering how long it took me, and honestly I was a little bit shocked because it took me around 7 hours, so that's way longer than usual. But I do really love the way it turned out, so I guess it was worth it in the end. And after some color adjustments and adding a bit of texture on top of everything, this is the final result. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm gonna be selling the stickers that I made from this illustration on Etsy. So yeah, check out the link in my description. I would obviously really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you to anyone who checks it out. And then for the stickers, I actually printed them on matte vinyl sticker paper, so it's super smooth, and so I just cut up the main illustration for my cover and then rounded off 2 of the corners with my little tool. And yeah, here I'm just trying to show you the texture. I'm not really sure if it comes across on camera that well, but it is really, really matte. So I found the best way to stick it onto the cover is actually to kind of slowly peel off the back of the sticker and then apply it bit by bit, and that actually worked out pretty well. And then next up, I wrote the title on some black paper, and I went for this really, really simple font because obviously there's already a lot to look at otherwise, and I didn't want to like take away from the illustration. But yeah, and then because I couldn't really decide where to put the title, I first went on to the other page. And yeah, this year I'm actually doing something called Plantober, which is kind of like Inktober but just a different prompt list. And this is by Lotus Bubble, so on Instagram I'll definitely link her account down below. Her art is absolutely stunning and I love it. So yeah, I just wrote all of the prompts on this page just to refer back to it along with the number of each day. So it's all just like different plant related prompts, and I'm really looking forward to it, so definitely check it out if you're interested. And then on the top I added one of the big stickers, and then I used these 2 shades of Tombow brush pens. So one is a really bright yellow and then the other one is a dark warm purple shade, and I thought they really fit the theme really well. So yeah, I just used them to like make a line alternating between the 2 colors for each day. And on that sticker on the top I also wrote Plantober prompts just as a little title. And then I finally decided on the placement for the title on the right page, so I put it onto the like window part. And then because I didn't really like the way I wrote on the sticker on the left, I redid it on black paper again and then just covered it up because I just thought it looked a little more cohesive that way. Alright, so moving on, I actually didn't do a monthly overview this time because as I was looking back through my old bullet journal, I actually noticed that I pretty much never use it. So instead I'm doing just a mini calendar on the top here, and that's just to have an overview of the dates. And then I'm adding a smaller sticker on the left and a little quote that just says little by little to fill the empty space in between. And then underneath I'm doing a bunch of sections. So one is for events, the other one is for monthly tasks and some monthly goals as well. And then I also added one for my schedule or schedule, however you say that, because I'm actually starting a study program in October as well. And then I just wanted to kind of keep an overview of what kind of classes I'm gonna have. And then I also added a YouTube and Instagram growth tracker because I've actually been getting a bunch of new subscribers. So hi to everyone that's new. I'm really glad you're here, and yeah, I'm really happy that everyone is being super positive and like super sweet in the comments as well. Honestly, reading them always makes my day, so thank you so much. But yeah, I think I'm gonna use these sections a lot more than like the monthly overview because I also just use like the calendar on my phone for that. But yeah, anyway, on the other page, nothing really has changed there. So this is where I do my habit trackers, and for anyone that's new, I split them up into daily, weekly, and monthly habits. And then I do a little calendar for the days, as you can see. So just writing the weekdays and then kind of doing the shape of the calendar. And then for the weeklies, I do like a box or a space for each week to tick off. And then for the monthlies, again, I'm also doing just a box to tick off any monthly habits I like to achieve. And because this system has just been working really well for me, I'm not going to change it anytime soon, I don't think. But definitely leave any suggestions down below if you want. But yeah, for the title, I decided to print out some like bigger rectangles, as I mentioned. So I'm using one of the long ones here, pretty much just to cover the top. And then again, I'm writing the title on some black paper. I'm using that same kind of really simple font. And yep, for the bottom space, I wrote another little quote also on some black paper, and it says, "What you can do today can improve all your tomorrows." And yeah, I thought that was very fitting for my habits, so I just stuck it on the bottom there. And that's it for my habits. So yeah. Next up, I'm doing something new again. So I'm using these smaller rectangles as titles for these 4 sections. These are also going to be available on my shop. And the first one is for any like Plantober ideas I might have, or like sketches or whatever. The second one is a finance planner. The third one is for my Etsy shop, and then the last one is dedicated to my YouTube ideas or videos. And then I also gave each section a border, alternating between the 2 colors I used before, just to separate them and make it look a little more clean. And then in the finance section, I'm basically gonna write down my income and my total expenses for the month, and then the sources, so where I get my money from and then where I spend it, just to have an overview of like where my money actually goes and where I could save some money in the future. So yeah, and then last but not least, we're moving on to my first weekly month of gosh. Now, last but not least, we're moving on to my first weekly spread of the month. And again, I created some even smaller stickers for the weekdays, and I thought they turned out really cute. So I'm using a different one for each day, and then using my white gel pen to write a letter for each weekday on top of them. And yeah, I also added these like little dots and lines, and I think it just looks really cute. So yeah, and then for the date, I'm adding a small circle in the yellow shade, and then some borders with the purple just on the top and bottom. And just in case you're curious, the kind of boxes that I made for each day are 11 spaces wide and then 10 spaces tall. So yeah, just in case you're wondering. And then underneath all of the weekdays, I'm creating the usual sections, so my expenses tracker, a workout planning section, a sleep tracker, and then again my tasks, goals and notes section. And all of these sections are 7 spaces wide, again if you're wondering. For the title, I'm again using these rectangles I printed out, and then I wrote week 1 on the left and then the date of the week on the right, so 28th until the 4th of October. And then lastly, because there was some more space on the right side there, I just added another sticker into that empty space and then added some small doodles around it in the yellow shade to finish it off. And yeah, that's it. So here's a little flip through as always. I really hope you enjoyed this month's setup. I know I definitely did. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you would like to see more of my content, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you want to get any of my stickers, I'm gonna leave a link to my Etsy shop down below. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone checking it out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!